So yesterday we were discussing about the logging mechanisms, right? So we have seen yesterday all the mechanisms of the logging, right? So today we are going to continuing the same thing, but not about this logging mechanism. We are talking about the event handlers. If you see here, there is an option called event handlers. What is this and why it is useful for us and how can we utilize this one? So yesterday we have seen these logging mechanisms, right? So
Can you share your screen? Can you share your screen?
yes,
We are unable to see your screen. See your screen.
yeah, fine. Okay,
And
I'm continuing this. Okay. So yesterday we have seen these logging techniques, right? So everything, all the options we have covered in the yesterday's logging mechanisms. We have seen all the different types of loggings. How can we capture the error? All these things, right? So today we are going to work on the event handlers. If you see here in the fourth tab, you can see the event handlers. So what is this and how we use this one? So event handlers is nothing but something we will be calling it as a try catch block. Okay, try catch block. If anything is happened, what has to be taken care? So like this, we can do something by using this event handlers. It is almost like a logging mechanisms only, but this is custom loggings actually. So in this yesterday's logging, you have seen all the options which are defined by the means this tool. But here we can define our own options. Like if something happen on this situation, then only take care of some issue like try and catch. Okay, it's a similar like a try catch block. Okay, let me take one example so that we can understand. I'm going to take one new package here. I will rename this one. I will make it as an something event handlers. Okay. So here, what I'll do is I will take some simple task, just some simple data flow task. In this, I will have some regular stuff only, nothing much in this. So connecting the source here, and I will take one. Let me take OLEDV source and destination as flat file. Okay, fine. Here I will connect to the my server and I will pick one table here. Um, I will take some adventure works. In this, some dim currency. Okay, these are the columns available. I will just connect to the flat file destination. I will take some new file where it can be write some flat file. So it is asking where we need to store this one. It is asking like this. So we can store it in here itself. Destination one something I have given on flat file, that's it. So this is the regular stuff we have seen in the different previous packages also. So what I am going to explain here is how we what how we can apply these event handlers in the different tasks. Yesterday we have seen the logging mechanisms, right? So we have captured the errors. If something has happened, how this logging is taking care of all those issues. The same thing I want to take, but we want to take it as our own table so that we can capture that error, we can store it into some table. Okay. So for that I am taking one table here, and I want to create the some columns. In that I want to capture my own descriptions, and when the package was started, when the package was ended, what was the if any issue has came, what is that issue, all those details I want to capture in my some created table. For that what I want to take is going to the DBMS. Here I'm just creating one table here in the dev, and these are the columns I am taking. Just ID, package name, start time, end time, and error description. ID means some unique ID I am giving, and package name, whatever the package name we have created, that package name, and when that package was started, and when that package was ended, and if anything failed in that package, means suppose I am executing the package, if anything goes wrong, what was that error description I want to capture in this column. So for that what I am doing is I am creating this one table here. Yes, table is created, and I want to insert a one record here so that rest of the details I can capture from the package. So there is a one record I am inserting into this one. So now we'll check one more option. We'll go and see how many records are there. So it starts from SSIS event. Okay. So this is the package ID. This is the package name, start date, end date, and error description. So rest of the columns we will be capturing through package itself. Okay. Let's start how we can capture this one. So for that, what I'm going to do is I will take some two variables here, add the first variable, let's say package ID, and you know all these things, right? Scope, data type, everything. Scope is nothing but the variable of this is the scope will be until to this package only. Okay. And what is this data type? If you are giving something numeric value, then we will be taking as an int 32. If you are taking some strings and characters means, then we have to change it as an varchar and varchar like that. So here my package ID is some 1111 I have given, and some package name. Here it is in a numeric, so that's why I'm taking as an a string. Sorry, it's in a varchar, that's why I'm taking as an a string. Okay. So what we have given the some name here, right? First package. Okay, done. So now we are ready with the inputs now. Now just we'll see the event handlers tab and how we can do this one. Let's start this one. just click on the event handlers. So here you can see the executable event handlers. In this, it is given some options here. So these options, I think yesterday also we have seen in the logging mechanisms, but it's in a predefined. We cannot do anything on that one. But here in the event handlers, we can handle something on this. Let's say now I would like to consider something here as an pre-execution, post-execution on error. Let's say what happens if we click on the on error options. Means while executing this package, if anything is happened on error, handle that error as so what we are going to handle with that update SSIS event set what we are going to set uh, if on error happens, right? So we need to set the error description and end time. Means we need to update those columns here. Means what was that error and what is that error description, where one second, error description comma end time, where id equals to question mark. Means all I will pass through dynamic here. Dynamically I am going to pass all these things. Copy this one, come to here. What I am saying, while executing this package on error, we need to update this one. So we have created the one table, right? Our own table in the dev database. Here I am giving one statement here. Update the table and set error description, end time, and where package ID equals to some package our package ID. So all these are dynamically passed, right? So what is this question mark? Question mark means this is in a dynamically we are passing the parameters to this query. So while executing, it will take all these question marks as in a runtime and it will pass those values to this query and it will execute this one. Okay. I will pass this value here like this, parameter mapping. Okay. Just add this one, two variables. If you remember, what was the first question mark? Error description. So here we have inbuilt, if you see here system, these are all system variables. Created name, created computer, error code, error description, eventless start time, all these are all the system defined variables. We are using that variables to our first description. Means we are capturing the error code. Means in the first question mark we are passing one system defined variable that has that value to the error description. Second one is end time. In end time we can give the get date actually. Why? Because whenever it is executed, pass that system value to that end time, where package ID equals to ID we have already given our own variables. If you remember, we have created two variables, that is user created variables, means package ID. I am passing as a package ID. Here one more thing we need to remember here is parameters name. So it should be always starts with 0. 0 means first question mark, 1 means second question mark. Whatever the first question mark, here in our case, our error code is our the first question mark, that is 0. In package ID is the first, second question mark. If you remember this one, error description, this is the parameter 0, this is the parameter 1. Okay, this is what I want to update by the runtime. Rest of the things keep it as it is. Error code, it is an nvarchar. Why? Because we are capturing some error code, right? So that's why we are making as an nvarchar. Just simply say OK here. If you want, we can rename this one. So on error, we have taken some event handler, right? Now I want to take one more thing after the post execution. We have so many options here. We can try one by one, but for our example sake, I am taking some 2 or 3. Rest of the things you can try yourself. So on post execution, so if you see this one, there is nothing here. Why? Because every event we are taking care as a different event handlers. Okay, that's why we are not able to see anything on this. On error only we have taken care, but not on the post execution. Okay, click here and update this one. The same thing here. What we are going to do, update the same table on the post execution. What we are going to set, end time equals to get date, means once that package is updated, just update the time, that's it. Where, for which package we need to do this one, it's just on the our package, right? This is for the on error, this is for the on post execution. I want to take one more thing on pre-execution. What I am going to update is before the starting what was the time, and after the execution what is the time. So we have start time here. So before executing the package, what was the time? Capture and update here. Once the package is done, update the time here. If anything goes wrong, just capture that error into this column and update that end time. Okay, that's the thing I want to handle it through event handlers. But previously when we do that logging, we are not able to do right all these things. All these things are predefined in the logging mechanisms. We are just tick mark that one and just executing and capturing those details. Here we can define our own columns and we are capturing all those details here. Let's do this one in the pre-execution. So on post execution, what we done? So the same again concept, connect to the dev and update the post execution query. So here we have package ID, right? So we need to pass it as through parameter. Simply pass it through system user defined package ID and name it as we have only one question mark, that's why just give that only. Updating this package where and set end time is equal to get date where package ID equals to dynamically passing this one. Okay, done this one. Now on the pre-execution, see here on pre-execute. So nothing was taken care. Now we are going to handle it. What we are going to do? We are updating the time here. On pre-execution, I am just capturing this one. The same thing, start time and package ID. Add the variable name which is user defined package ID and this is 0. Okay, simply okay. So what are the events we have taken care? If you see whatever the event handlers we are taking, that was coming as in a bold. Rest of the things are in the normal way. Means these are the which are highlighted, those are taking care in the event handlers. Okay. So now what are the things we have taken? On error, post execution, pre execution. On the post execution, end time is updating. On pre execution, our start time is updating. If anything goes wrong on error, we are updating the error description also. Let's start with this. Simply go to the event handlers and capture the whichever option we want to capture on issue, that we can done this one. So come to control flow and simply save and execute. Here what is our expectation? If package is successful, only start time and end time should be updated in the table, in this table here, right? Let's start this one. Yes, it's done successfully. It means it should be fine with this. I hope it should be updated this one. If you see this one, the start time was captured, end time was captured. Means at what time the package was started and at what time the package was ended. How much time it was taken. All these things we can see in the start time and end time. It's error description. It is null here. Why? Because the package was successful, there were no errors actually, that's why it was null here. So there is no issue, that why error description is 0. Okay, if once again I have run this one, the same package, the start time and end time will be changed here. Why? Because when we are executing, at that time the system time will be changed. That time will be updated in the start time. Once that package is successful, that time will be captured in the end time. So this is our own table, right, where we have captured all these details. So let's try with the error actually. So for that, intentionally we want to do some error on the package so that it will be failed. What I will do is, let's take some one more here. So that means here what I want to say is I want to intentionally failing the package. So how to fail? I think we have so many options. What we can do is, yesterday also we have seen this one. Select 1 by 0. So divided by 0 encounter error. So when we are selecting like this, it is an error. That's why it is throwing one error here. Let's do the same thing, and how it will be captured that error. Yesterday we have seen that same error, right? Now we are doing with our own table here. Let's try this one. So now when I will execute this one, it will be failed, and automatically these columns will be updated. Which columns? Error description columns. Till now it is null, right? So error description should capture what was the package error problem, what was the package, why it was failed, what is that error, all these details should come into this error description. So how we have given this one? So in the in the on error, the error description equals to system defined variable is there, error code that we are capturing to this one, we are updating this one. Okay, let's see this one. Start. See, now it was got failed, right? If you go to this one, event handlers, it was got failed here. Why it was got failed? Let's see this one. Select star from this one. Something was wrong here. Let's check on error. Go to the execution results and see why it was not capturing this one. So there is some result set properties issue. Error code, package ID, which is fine here. Let's execute here only. What it's saying, no value given for the one more required parameters. What was that parameter? On error, error description, end time, get date, where ID equals to this one. Yes. Sorry. Okay, got it here. See guys, here we have given 3 question marks, and parameters we have given only two parameters. That's why it is saying one of the parameter value is missing. That's why it was got failed. Okay. So actually what we need to do is, on error, end time should be equals to get date, right? That I haven't given. Let me copy this one. Go to general, and it should be like this actually. Now let's start once again here. Yes, it was failed now. Go to the event handlers. Yes, on error is successful. Let's go and check our table here. Why it was not captured the error? It is showing null here. Actually, what is our expectation is, when this package was executed, here that error description has to be captured here. So end date is captured successfully 8:20:21 seconds. Means end time is updating successfully, but error description is not captured. It was not captured. Let's see what was the issue here. Update our table set error description end time where id equals to. So error description is 0, id equals to 1. Yes, the same thing we have given. Uh, what is this one? Error description. Yes. Now it's got updated here. So error description, right? So we have to take that variable here as system defined variable is there, right? I have taken error code here. Actually, we need to capture the error description variable. So it will capture that error here. So if you see this one 8:21, the time is same when the package was ended. At the time the time was the 8:21. And what was that issue? Actually, our package was failed. If you remember, if you see here, see the package was failed. So due to some error, what was that error? We can check in the error description. It is captured that error. So divided by zero encounter. See, it is captured that error here. So like this, we can capture our own description. I mean, system defined descriptions into our own tables, and we can handle it in a different ways. Okay. So this is the event handlers. So these are the event handlers. So now I hope all these tabs should be familiar with this now. Control flow we have seen so many times. It is the it is something a mind where we can flow all these tasks here. It's a name main control where we can controlling all the flows, means the task how should be the flow, all these things we are giving in the control flow. So in the data flow task we are defining from where to where how the task should be flow, means source and destination, how it should be handling some transformations, all these things. Okay. Parameters, now we are going to discuss this one. And apart from this event handlers, just now we have covered, right? Coming to the package explorer, it is nothing but our package tree structure. Let's say what is our package, what are the connections available. Till now we have taken what are the connections. AdventureWorks database we have connected, and dev database we have connected, and one flat file destination we have taken. All these things are shown in the connection managers. And executables, what are the executables available, means it's all defining our package description. Here we can see the complete tree structure of our package. It's just exploring our package, nothing but. Means what are the things we have given, constraints, parameters, if you define anything. Yes, we have defined event handlers. What are the on error, post execution, pre execution. Did we use any variables? Yes, we have used this one. System defined user defined variables. All these things variables we have used. Means it's giving completely our package details here. Okay, it is nothing but package exploring here. The next tab is nothing but execution results, means what was the package, how it was executed, at what time it was started, if anything issues, what are those issues. See, it's capturing all those issues. And every level on error, it every task details it is giving on pre-execution, on error, on post execution, every individual task whether it is successful or failed, all these things are shown here. Like this, our execution result will be displayed here. Now the last one is parameter. Okay. So I hope everyone is understand all these steps except the parameters. Why we are going to discuss this one. Okay. The first one is we'll go to the parameters. So if you see this one, here the parameters are the same concepts like a variables only. Okay. So we have some small differences in the variables and parameters. Let me explain this one. Parameters, variables. Coming to this parameter concepts, it was introduced in 2012 only. What is 2012? This is the version where the parameter concept was came into the picture. Before to this 2012 there are no parameter concepts. Only from the version of 2012 it was introduced. Before to this variables concept was not there. I mean parameter concept was not there. Only variables are available. Till 2008 R2. Okay, these are the options and it will be act like a variables only. Means whatever the things we are doing through the variables, right? The same thing will be handled by the parameters also. The next thing, the parameters and variable differences here I am saying. So the first point is it was introduced in the 2012 and variables are defined. Variables are still there, but the concept of this parameter was introduced in the 2012 only. And these are all the same which we are using in regular stuff like in variables. We can use the parameter concepts also. Okay. And where we can use these parameter concepts are on environment environment deployment. I mean, in this situation, these parameters are very helpful for us. Okay, it cannot be used in the deployment. I will tell you what is this deployment. I will take you one scenario and I will explain you how to use this one. And so, but I am just giving the differences here. So where the in which areas these are most useful. Okay, and the most important thing is the scope. Scope can be up to project level. Next, it is coming to the variables. It is only up to package level. What is this scope here? What I am saying is, if you define any parameters in the package level, it can be used in the package level. If you define any parameter in the solution level, it can be utilized by the entire all the packages. Means one parameter we can use in all the packages. Okay. So let me start with the one real time so that we can understand all these things. So these are the main differences which we need to be observed here, parameters and the variables. Okay, coming to this, let's take one new package and then we'll see parameters concept. Okay. For this, I am taking as a new package here. Parameters. Okay. So if you see this one, there is a one tab called here parameters. So when we click this one, it will be works like it will be shown like in a variable tab only. See if you see this one, add parameter, which is nothing but it will be almost similar like in a variable only. Okay, whatever the things we are doing in the variables, the same thing can be done from here also. Okay, if you go to the control flow and open the variables, see the tab is almost similar. If you go to this, see this is the parameter, this is the variables. If you see this one, these are almost acts like in a the same thing only. Okay, now if you define any parameter here, let's say file name, something string here, the value will be some destination. So this is the one parameter I have given. If you see this one, where I have given this one in the package, means the scope of this parameter is up to the package only. This is the normal parameter where we can define into the within the package. Okay, this is a one parameter where we have given some file name here, means within the package we have given. If you see here my project, this is the solution name. Under to this we have one name, project params, means at the project level if you define anything that can be useful in the entire any packages, this all these packages can use these parameters. See, open this one, this is in a project parameters. If you see this one, project dot params, this is package level parameters. Here the project level, the same I will give some what we have given here, file name we have given, right? I will give some name here, file path I will give here. So something just for our sake I am giving, that's it. So we have given the project level parameter. Now this is the package level, this is the project level. Close this one. See, it's asking to save this one. Yes. Now in any package we can call this project level parameters. Means one, let's say in the project parameters, if we define anything, it can be useful in the all the packages. That's the main, very important we need to understand here. Okay, let's start with the uh, package level parameter and then we will be starting with the project level. Okay, so till now everything is clear or do I need any clarification?
You can continue.
Yeah, thanks. So for this what I am going to do is I will take one scenario here and we will see how we can how these parameters are helpful for us. So in till the 2008 R2 we don't have this parameter, guys. So we used to be having a very big problem actually while doing the any deployment here. What is this deployment, sir? Let's say I'm developing all these packages, very good, all these packages I want to send it to testers, send it to the production, send it to the some pre-prod. So we have different environments, right? So every environment there are people they are working on these packages. But the concept here, the deployment means once my development is done, I want to deploy this package to some other environment. Let's say my development is done. Now I have to send it to the testing environment. Okay. So in previous versions, there was a very big problem actually while doing this deployment. Means we have some difficulties actually, but in 2012, this task was very simple actually. Because of this parameter concepts, we are able to do this in a very simply way. Okay. So coming to this one, if you come to here, see if you see this one solution configuration, right now it is showing in the development, means we are doing all these packages, developing all the packages in the development environment. Okay, now I will add one more environment here. Go to this configuration management. In the configuration I want to add one more, few more, like the testing environment, creating the environment here, testing. Okay, close. One more environment, some production. Okay, just close this one. Now if you see this one, we have three environments: development environment, production environment, and testing environment. Till now what we have seen is default it is giving the development environment, right? So if you go to the production environment, just it won't be change anything, just we will be changing the environment and running the package, that's it. Means automatically our environment will be deploying to that our package will be deploying to that environment. Okay, let's take one example and see how this will be helpful. Okay, so for this what I am going to do, this one is I'm just take one control flow and I will do some data to some path here. Let's say there is a one source, BillyDB source, sorry, one flat file destination. I'm just before to this, let's create the environments here. In the training, we have source table, right? All these things. So what I want to do here is in the source tab, I would like to create some folders here, environment, just for understanding sake. In the environment, we have development, testing, and production. Okay. So what I'm going to do here is when I do this one, my destination file should be capture the data into the development here. I mean it has to come to here. When I work on the production environment, the data should be come here. When I do in the testing, I have to capture the this environment. Okay. So let's start with one example development. We'll see. In the source, we have the environments, right? It is the training. the environment. Here it is our destination something. Mapping is also done. Okay, good. So this is our regular stuff where we used to do, right? Just doing the capturing the data from the table to one flat file. So how we are implementing the parameters concept here? Now we have given some flat file here, okay, and I want to give one more variable, some file path string. I mean my file name should be destination.txt, and what is my path here? I have to bring it to this level, I mean in this path. So I'm just giving this path to the parameter here. At the end give some slash so that it will be captured here. So now I have two parameters which is nothing but file name and file path here. Come to the control flow, come to the connection managers. Now right click the connection managers, go to the properties. It will be, the window will be open like this, the properties window. Go to the expressions here, go to the expressions, go to the connection string. If you see this one, here we have variables and parameters. We have defined two parameters, if you remember this one. Here it is seeing the project level parameter, the package level parameter. Now it should be very clear now, it should be easily understand. We have defined two parameters which are at the package level, file name and the file path. And one more parameter which was given at the solution level, means it is on the solution level. I said it can be useful in all the packages, right? That's why it is showing here. Means we have defined something at the project level parameter. That this is showing that at the project level parameter. Now I want to use the package level. Let's see. Let's go to the next in the next project level. First we will consider the at the package level. Now I want to capture the file path plus the file name. Okay, just evaluate this one. If you see this one, this variable is capturing the entire path slash plus package name, file name. Means in this path it will be, the files will be created dynamically like this. Means we are handling through expressions. Okay, just click OK. Okay, save this one and execute this one. So it's executed. What is our expectation? In the development, it has to be created the folder here. Okay, good. Okay, nice. So it has created the file, which is our expected. Okay. The same thing. Now what is our requirement? When the same package we want to execute in the testing environment, previously we used to have very big difficulty, as I said. We have to copy all these packages manually to that environment, and we have to set up all those things and then execute all those things, and then we can see the result. But in the 2012 we have a beautiful option which I told you. Just simply change the environment here. Testing, if you want to do the testing, the testing. If you want to do the production, we can do the production. But before to that, we need to give some setup option here. Just go to the parameters here. Here we have add parameters to this configuration. Okay, means this is the configuration, right? So we need to add this parameter to that configuration. Just click this tab. See, if you see this one, all the environments it is showing: development, production and testing, right? So here just add this one. By default it is showing the file name and the file path. We will be using the file path here. Just click on this and it will be showing all this here. Mean all the paths by default it is taken care. Means when we are doing in the development, my destination folder should be in the development path. Okay, fine, it is working good here. When I am doing in the production, it has to be go to the production path, right? If you see here, what is the production path here? It is development. I will change this to production. Just copy this path that's it. Means when we are working, our file should be captured into this folder, not to the development. Okay, when we are doing the same way for the testing, it should be pointed to not to the development, it should be pointed to testing environment. Just copy this one and paste it to the testing path. Okay, now we are ready with the all the paths here. So it is showing thus was currently you are in the development environment, that's why it is in an active state. When we change it to the production, it will automatically change it to the production. Okay, and one more thing, that these parameter store values are up to the project level only. Means once this solution, entire solution, when we are changing, then this won't be work. That's what it is saying. It's okay, nothing to worry. When we work on this, I will explain more on this. So if you see this one, right now, what is this one? Development environment, right? The file path is showing the development environment. When I shift to production, see this one, the production environment is changed. The file path is automatically pointing to the production. When I change it to the testing, see the file path is pointing to testing. Means there is nothing much to. Hello. Okay. So here whenever the environment is changing, automatically the file path is pointing to the environment. So let's try this one. I think till now we have seen the development, right? Means by default development, when we have executed this package, our destination was created in the development. Now when we pointing to the production environment, it should be, the file should be created in the production. Let's try this one. Now I will change it to the production and simply execute this one. So what is our expectation? It should be captured into the production folder, right? So still in execution. Yes, it's executed. Let's go and check in the production. Yes, means the production path is taken and it the captured the in the production path. Let's try the same thing in the testing environment. Means simply change the environment here and execute the without touching any package disturbances. Simply change the environment and execute this one. Means at one shot we are able to handle all the three environments, right? Simply the same thing. The testing means when now the expectation is my testing environment, the same package is executing, but the destination is changed to the destination folder to the testing, right? Started executing. Yes. Go to the environment. Testing. Yes. See, simply we have three environments. Whichever environment is in active, that environment only will be updated here. Got it? So this is the parameters. Right now it is pointing to the testing. That's why it is showing the testing. When I change it to the development, it will automatically pointing to the development here. So till now everything is clear. Do we need any clarification?
Yeah, this is fine till now.
Okay, good. Okay, fine. So we have discussed the package level parameters, right? If you remember, just now we have seen all the parameters within the scope of the package level. So we have one more thing which is level at the project level, right? So means if we define anything in the project level, so this will be automatically used in the all the packages. I think it will be very good if you try from your side. So it's nothing much. Just create one project, one parameter here. I hope I have already created. So there is a one path here, right? We have file path environment. Let's take this one environment. In the development, I will define my path here. Okay, add it to the configurations. Now it is showing all these things. The file path it's in a project level, so remember that one. It is in a project level. So right now it is in the development environment is pointing to the development, but I want to make it to the production. So in that case, what I want to do, I just need to change it to the production. Similarly, like testing, capture these details in the testing path, right? So for this, what I'm going to do, I'm just taking the testing path here and just capturing this one. Just click OK here. Now I have a project level parameter. Now it's pointing to the development. That's why it is showing like this. When I change it to the production, it is production. When it is doing to the testing, it's doing testing. Okay, good now. Now we can do something in the same way here. In the connection manager, go to the connection string, go to the same expressions. Now go to this one same way. But here what I am going to do, instead of doing the file path which is at the package level, I want to try it to the at the project level. Means here it is the project level path is there at file path. I am using this one. Yes, good. So the same way, the development destination everything is same way. Okay, but the scope is here at the project level parameter. Simply save this one and let's delete all these things. See whether this project level parameter is working fine or not. So all the environments are clear now. Once again I will start executing this one. Right now it is in the development. So let's execute this one. So now what happens? It will point to the project level parameter. In that the path which we have given, that parameter that should be executed. It's executing now. Yes, it's executed. Let's go and check. Yes, it's working fine. Means our development at a project level path is pointing to the development now. Very good. Now I will change the environment here to the production and I will execute once again. Now again that the project level parameter will be pointing to the project production environment and it will create the file in the production folder. So we don't have anything in the production, right? So it should be, the file should be created here. Yeah. See, the file is created in the production, means which is our parameter is pointing correctly and working fine. Now change it to the some testing here. So testing we don't have anything, right? So let's see how the file will be created or not. It should be it is executing. Yes, see the file is created. Means all these paths are working fine when we define this parameter in the project level also. Means what's happening here? If you define anything in the project level, it will be applicable to all the packages. Means one parameter can be utilized in the all the packages. If there is in the same requirement in the some other package, so I don't need to define once again the parameter. I simply can use the project level parameters. Okay, like this we can use the parameters concept here. I hope now it should be very understandable. It's as I said, it was introduced in 2012. It will be act like in a variables, means capturing, I mean holding some data, the similar like in a variable concept. Environment deployment, so we have seen this now, how to deploy to the different environments. So till now we have seen production, development, testing like this. And the fourth point, the scope can be updated, scope can be up to the project level also. Means if we define a parameter in the project level, so it will be applicable to the project and the package. Scope can be package and project. But coming to the variables, it's not like that. If you define any variable, that variable scope is only up to that package only. We cannot take it to the project level, right? So these are the main differences and points to be remembered. So start practicing on this and try to execute some other new ways so that we can utilize how the parameters can be useful. So try from your side and let me know. Okay, that's all for this today.